Fair warning, sometimes when I'm having a hard time writing an episode, I'll vent it to a microphone for a while, just so I can get my feelings down. But when I started working on Gargantia, I realized that I had ranted for so long that it may as well have just have been a regular episode. So, in this case, I decided to intersperse the regularly scripted segments with parts of that tiff so you can really get the frustration and exasperation I was feeling at the time. And who says anime reviews can't be experimental? Okay, stop me if you've heard this one before. Spaceman lands on a mysterious planet and everything looks... fuck it. Spaceman lands on Earth and things go wrong. This show is one big fucking cliche to the point where it's difficult to actually write a good send-up of it. Gargantia on the Veneburblious planet is allegedly an action sci-fi series about a species that really seems to be too dumb to live, that being humans. Human beings have left Earth and are now pretty well hell-bent on destroying these space squids called the Hideos. Leto, our main character, is a mecha pilot for the Earth Federation, and he's part of a massive task group assigned to finally blow the Hideous out of the void. They've got enough firepower to level a solar system, but of course they completely botch it, sending Leto screaming into a wormhole. Luckily for him, the laws that usually govern black holes aren't in effect or he'd be paced. He gets spat out on some weird backwater... It's Earth. The Vendurious planet in question is Earth, and it takes about 3 episodes for them to 100% confirm it, but let's be realistic, you guys figured it out already. Immediately, Leto decides to kidnap Amy, one of the locals, and almost gets himself killed. And for whatever reason, this leads to a budding romance that's about as interesting as carbon monoxide. Yes, that's right, you don't see it and you get a fucking headache. But the Vendurbulous planet, that being Earth, is basically Waterworld, and boy, that's an ironic comparison to make now, isn't it? So Leto has to learn the language of the people here and try to fit in and go native. Now there's a big problem here because he's a big ol' stick in the mud who doesn't know how to have fun and relax. Didn't he learn how to back on the horrifically oppressive space colony where he was grown in a vat? Well, no, actually. You know what the biggest problem with it is, though? He's basically useless outside of piloting his robot, and even then the damn thing pilots itself most of the time. If you can have robots to do all your dirty work for you, why are you even risking human life by sending them against these space squids? Leto has landed on the Gargantia, hence the title of the show, and good for him. Because if he landed on any other ship, he might have been surrounded by competent people instead of a bunch of morons. The Gargantia is ostensibly the biggest ship on the planet, but it's run by idiots who do things because the plot says so. The flimsy excuses they use to drum up trouble reek of plot necessity in lieu of decent characterization. And of course, they seem to be utterly clueless on what to do when pirates come into play. Let me kick it into real life for a minute to break down the issue. Like, okay, Bellows and her crew go and get captured, and oh no, they're captured, what are we gonna do? Well, we gotta send a crew to go and rescue them, or talk the pirates down. Yeah, on this world, on this new Earth, there's pirates everywhere, and they just go and steal everybody's shit. Great. Cool. That's fun. Why would you do that? Oh, because it's easier than working an honest living. Well, of course, why do other pirates do it? The fleet of ships we've seen guns, we've seen cannon, we've seen battleships and destroyers, which are not very good at destroying things like, like their little dumb crab mecha. But you know what they are really good at? Sinking other ships. Okay, so imagine you're the captain of a huge battleship, or a huge fleet like this. Oh no, pirates off the starboard bow. You're close enough that you can see the fuckers. Just line up cannons. Boom, boom. Gone. Sunk to the bottom of the ocean. No more pirates. No more problems. So Leto and his chamber are here, and they have, like, super space lasers. And they're like, oh, okay, well, identifying hostiles. Zip, 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 zip. And it does that weird, like, Robotech squares pop up. It takes out all these guys and, ashes them immediately and just incinerates them with no harm done to anybody else. No harm done to the Gargantia's crew. And they're like, oh no, what have you done? You've killed some pirates. Now you're gonna get the rest of the pirates on us. You have God on your side. Why is this a problem? I mean, really? Like, okay, Leto and Chamber are literally the most powerful units in the world, and unlike a B-52 bomber loaded with nuclear weapons, you can talk to the guy. You can explain to him, hey, we need you to destroy these very specific people and not everybody else. Please and thank you. Anyway, so the pirates attack, and instead of saying, oh shit, no, more pirates, what are we going to do? Oh, I know, let's send out Chamber so he can go and do that thing that he did before, and, like, zap everybody and solve your pirate issue, bar none. Whatever you do, don't use your super weapons on the pirates that are attacking us and trying to kill us. That might make them angry. They're trying to kill you and steal your crap. This is not a planet where you can just go down to the fucking Walmart and buy a new whatever. Like on Gargantia, you have the clothes on your back, you have your life, and whatever dumb trinkets you managed to pull up from the bottom of the ocean. And you're like, oh no, don't hurt the pirates. And it's not even the problem that they are trying to take the moral high ground or talk to these people. They don't want to hurt the pirates because they don't want to hurt the pirates. That's as far as the explanation goes. That's not good writing. If they wanted to say something like, well, no, we don't want to hurt these pirates because we want to treaty with them, or we have this going on, or there's some sort of, like there's any sort of depth to it, which is, I mean, this, don't get me wrong, the only depth in this show is the bottom of the ocean, if you catch my drift. Here's the biggest issue. You have literally the ultimate power in the universe, and you are saying, no, we shouldn't use that because reasons? Gargantia had some cool ideas. Like, it has some interesting ideas, but it doesn't really make a lot of them. Like, every single twist and turn in this show is so badly, stupidly telegraphed that I don't even understand why they bothered to make the show. They could have just made like a 30-minute vignette to explain all of it, because none of these twists come as a surprise, and none of these twists come as anything interesting at all. It doesn't turn the robot genre on its head. It doesn't make an interesting overture about life, the universe, and everything. It doesn't even go as far as Madoka did to be like, hey, here's some real talk about the state of, you know, of how women are portrayed or exist in this society that we live in. It's just like, oh, Spaceman came to Earth, now he's learning how to be persons again. But we have a thing happen that we do a thingy. Like, I can't even adequately explain the plot because it's so meandering and pointless. And that doesn't even begin to get me onto the issues that are inherent with people breaking off of Gargantia. So there's a big plot point that comes in and about halfway through the series where they're like, oh, we have to leave the ship because we want to go off on our own, even though these waters are pirate-infested. And that's been shown over and over again to be a very bad idea, because grouping up in this tribe, this city-sized tribe, I'd say, has been the only thing that's been making these people able to manage, because they don't have steam power, they don't have water power, they don't have electricity except what they can pull up from the Hideous, and even then, that's pretty shaky. Yeah, they're like, no, we have to go off on our own and either get killed or come crawling back to everybody, because that's really the only options that are available. Like, have you not looked around at the world you're living in? Because, let me tell you, buddy, it's pretty fucked. If the plot of your show requires everybody to be a moron, you need to replot your show. Here's the big problem with the series as a whole. It's not as smart as it thinks it is. There's a certain weird air to it that makes it feel like the production crew is always elbowing you in the side and being like, yeah, yeah. It feels very pretentious and highfalutin, but for all the smart things in it, is not a smart work. And that's not even counting the myriad of aesthetically cool, but otherwise very questionable design choices. I do like a lot of the really slapdash tech they have going on, but this is not enough to save a series from itself. Especially when, and I mean this seriously, It has some of the shoddiest animation from what had to have been at least a medium decent budget show. It's very stiff, and it doesn't help the uniformly boring characters. The mechs are all CG, because that never goes wrong, right? And God help the crowd scenes or any bit where the characters are all expected to move their entire frames. One of the later episodes features the three main, remarkably underaged girls doing some sort of Middle Easternish dance. But the animation is so abysmal that it loses any efficacy and just becomes hilarious at best and sad at worst. And when Amy does a private dance for Leto, which I suppose is about as literal of a mating dance as you can get, it ends up looking just as terrible as you imagine. Girl, you look like a fucking bobblehead. Gen Urobuchi, right? He's like 0 for 2 on this show. And I already said that I don't need to review Madoka, because it's obviously the kick in the ass the magical girl genre needed. Is he just the Babe Ruth of modern anime, or what? Either he hits a homer or he strikes out? In his design documents, he claimed that the original intent of this show was to be something that would cheer young people on about going into the larger world. What about this show would cheer anyone up? It's overwhelmingly dark for most of the stories, the characters are nonsensical and utterly unrelatable, and the story falls back right in the same old crap we see for every show. This is another one of those shows that makes me feel that the human race, at least in media, should just be allowed to die off already. The whole thing isn't bad enough to be a train wreck, but it's not good enough to be a proper show. It's a string of episodes that leaves you feeling like you wasted 6 hours. Oh, and because of course there's 2 OVA episodes that do nothing for the story because of course it doesn't. With all the shows out there that do so much more with so much less, this pile of crap gets an OVA. It's like giving DLC to a SpongeBob game. Nobody's gonna buy it. Nobody's gonna play it. Nobody cares. It's not even fun. Like, it's not even fun to make fun of. Like, this is like real talk frustration, but like, I've gotten down on like Gundam Seed or some of the other stuff that I've really torn apart. Like, I had some fun taking that shit apart. Like, if I went back and I re-reviewed Wrath of the Ninja, being better at what I do now, I would have a fucking blast with it because it's that fucking awful. Like, I go to secondhand retail shops and I pick up awful crap because it's fun, because it's so utterly, unabashedly bad that, like, why would I not have fun doing that? But when I get to something like Gargantia, which has such highfalutin ideas about how good it is, then that's what gets my rage button. Because it's not good, and it doesn't understand that it's not good. It doesn't understand that it's dumb. And I hate to just slam it with that word, because that's probably the worst thing that I could say about it. It's stupid. It's badly plotted. It's put together in a way that makes me think that the original author didn't have a clue what he was doing. And that's not entirely fair, because Gen Urobuchi, who is apparently the second fucking coming, wrote the first and last episodes of it. Okay, that's a cool bookend. And then he got some fucking intern to like, well, I'll just throw in the usual episodes here, and all this crap that we always do in these shows. And that's what he came up with. And this is the end result. Like so much modern anime, it's all about the aesthetic with nothing solid to pick it up off the ground. Now, I hear a lot of people talking about, oh, the mecha genre is dead, or it's dying out so horribly. It's not dead. It's just on life support. But I guarantee you, with more shows like Gargantia and I'll Know a Zero, it's like putting that pillow right on its face and firing a few bullets into it. So yes, if you want to watch what the mecha genre has become in the last 10 years, this is a good example. It's a big ol' pile of nothing with some shitty CG thrown in. If you like what you saw, consider donating to my Patreon to get early access to all the new vids as they come out. And as always, thanks for watching.